Okay, so a little bit later than planned, the playoff draw for the 2017 USGAA Finals to be held in San Francisco on Labour Weekend. With me here is Pat Uniacke, former chairman of the North American Board, who's going to perform the draw. Aisling Bryant from the host committee and the Western Divisional Board is going to be our delight and touche and make sure there's no mistakes here. And Nolan O'Keefe, registrar of the Western Division, who's responsible for technology. So hopefully the new link, the updated link, went out on Facebook, and we're going to proceed with the draw. There's a Google document going out as well. I'll text that to you. You can post it with the draw, as it will be updated live as it occurs on Facebook. As last year and previous years, a number of these grades and codes were predetermined on recommendations from the Hurling Development Committee, the Camogie Development Committee, and the CCC reviewed them and approved them. And so you will see as we move through this, some of the slots in the brackets are predetermined and already filled out. So with that, we'll start. The link to the Google document should be posted on Facebook at the moment. It has also been emailed out to divisional secretaries if they want to share it with their clubs. So the first competition is men's senior football. We have 5 entries: Central Division, Northeast Division, Philadelphia, Western Divisions, and Vancouver. As an invitational team, Vancouver have been placed in the quarter-final. So we will draw 4 teams at random. First ball out will play Vancouver in the quarter-final, and then the other 3 will go straight into the semi-final. So Pat, if you pull a number from 1 to 4 there.
Number 4. Western.
So number 4 is Western. So Western Division entries will play Vancouver in the quarter-final. Number 2 is Northeast, so the winners of that quarter-final will play the Northeast representatives in the semi-final. So Central Division are in the bottom half of the draw. There should be just 1 team left if we've done our stuff right.
Number
3, which is Philadelphia. So that is the Senior Football Championship. And just to go over that again, Western Division will play Vancouver in the quarter-final. The winners will play Northeast in the semi-final and immediate football. We have 4 teams, all will go straight into a semi-final. The winners of the Central Division Championship, the Western Division Championship, Fraser Valley from Surrey in British Columbia, and Vancouver also in British Columbia. So Pat, 4 balls, number 1s to 4. Number 2, Western. Number 1 is Central, so they will play in the first semi-final. Number 3, and number 4. Sorry, this last ball is number 4, Vancouver. So the Intermediate Men's Football Championship, Western will play Central in the first semi-final. Fraser Valley will play Vancouver in the other semi-final. So now we move on to Men's Junior A Football. We have 5 entries: Northeast, Southeast, Southwest, Western, and Vancouver. Vancouver have been placed in the quarterfinals, an invitational team, and the other 4 slots will be drawn at random. So Pat, balls 1 to 4 again. Three, Southwest. Third ball out is number 1, which is Northeast. So the draw for the Intermediate Football Final has Vancouver playing quarter-final football. We have 5 teams here. 2 of them are from the Southwest Division. Be placed in a quarter-final, and then the remainder will be drawn at random. So we put number 1 and 2 in a hat. This is to see whether Dallas or Satanta San Diego play in the quarterfinal.
One out plays in the quarterfinal.
First one out plays in the quarterfinal. Number 2, Satanta. Now put all the remaining balls in.
This one out?
Yeah. So the next ball out will play in a quarter final against Setanta. Number 1, Dallas. Northeast. And the last ball, Pat. Five, which is Western. Okay, so the men's Junior B football, Setanta will play Dallas in a quarter final. The winners will play Northeast in a semi final, and the other semi final will be Philadelphia versus Western. So Junior C football, there are 5 teams from the Southwest, 2 from the Heartland, 2 from Northwest, 1 from Cayman Island, and then the divisional champions from the Midwest, the Southeast, and Western. On the recommendation of the football committee, the CCC have agreed to go with preliminary rounds. There'll be 5 preliminary rounds. A Southwest team will be placed in each of them games, and their opposition in each of those games will be one of the 5 teams from the Heartland, the Northwest, Cayman Island. And then the bottom 3 teams who have championships, Midwest, Southeast, and Western, will get a bye into the quarter final. So Pat, if you take out balls 1 to 5, or the first 5 out.
Denver.
So Denver are in the first slot in the top preliminary game. Setanta San Diego go into the second preliminary game. Okay. 5. So 5 is Wild Geese. They go into the third preliminary game. Number 1 is Austin Celtic Cowboys. They go into the fourth preliminary game. And number 5 is Culver City Cougars, who this is their first year entering in the North American Championships. So now the 5 teams to play them will be balls 6 to 10, which will be Kansas, Madison, Seattle, Gales, Columbia Red Branch, or Cayman Island. Will be put into the 5 preliminary games against the 5 Southwest teams just drawn. Number 6. Kansas. Number 7. Number 8. Number 10. Cayman Islands. Now the 3 remaining balls, 11, 12, and 13, which will go into the bottom 3 slots in the quarterfinals. Give me a good shake there, Pat. You're flying through it. 12. Southeast.
11. Midwest.
Okay, so that's the draw for the Junior C football. The top half of the draw, Denver Gales will play Columbia Red Branch in a preliminary ground game. Setanta will play Kansas City, and both of those will play in a quarter final. Then Wild Geese will play Madison in a preliminary round. Austin will play Seattle, and the winners will play in a quarter final. Culver City Cougars will play Cayman Islands in a preliminary round. The winners will play Southeast, and then in the bottom part of the bracket, the Midwest will play Western in a quarter final. So that concludes the draw for all the football championships. We do have some entries in Junior D football. We're still working a couple of things out on the structure of that and the format of that, and we're going to liaise directly with the clubs involved on that competition. So moving on to hurling next. Senior hurling, there's 4 entries: Central Division, Northeast Division, Western Division and Vancouver. The recommendation of the Hurling Development Committee, the CCC, has agreed to bracket them as follows in semi-final number 2. There are no entries in intermediate hurling, so the next competition we're drawing is Junior A hurling. We have 6 entries in this: Austin and Celtic Cowboys and St. Peter's San Diego from the Southwest Division. Heartland team, whose name escapes me right now, and Vancouver, the Northwest champions, and the Western Division champions. Based on the fact that they have championships to pre-qualify for the playoffs, the Northeast and the Western are put byes into the semi-final. The other 4 teams will be drawn at random to play a quarter-final.
Vancouver.
Vancouver. Number 2.
St. Peter's.
Number 1.
Austin.
And number 3.
Heartland.
So, which is Indianapolis, of course. That was my mistake for overlooking that. Apologies to Indianapolis. So the draw there will see Vancouver play St. Peter's in the quarterfinal. The winners play Northeast in a semi-final. Austin will play Indianapolis in a quarterfinal. The winners will play Western in a semi-final. So moving on to Junior B hurling. Again, there were 9 entries in this. 4 from the Heartland: Madison, Milwaukee, Twin Cities and Naperville. Mid-Atlantic, Baltimore, Seattle Gales from the Northwest, Michael Cusick's from Chicago Central Division, the winners of the Western Division champion, and Vancouver. So in a preliminary round, we will have Vancouver. Number 2 balls. 5.
Baltimore. Mid-Atlantic.
4.
Naperville.
7.
Michael Cusick.
3.
Twin Cities.
6.
Seattle Gales. Northwest.
8.
Western.
1.
Madison.
So the draw for the Junior B Hurling Championship: Vancouver winners will play Baltimore in the first quarter-final. Naperville will play Michael Cusick's in the second quarter-final. The winners will play Vancouver, Milwaukee or Baltimore in a semi-final. Twin Cities will play Seattle Gales in the quarter-final, and the winners of that will play the winners of Western and Madison quarter-final in a semi-final spot. So next up is Junior C hurling. So Junior C hurling it's a little bit complicated. We have 2 entries from Northwest: Columbia Red Branch, Tacoma Rangers. 3 entries from the Heartland: Indianapolis, Kansas, Twin Cities, Robert Emmets. 3 entries from the Southwest: Denver, Flagstaff, Mountain Hounds, and St. Peter, San Diego. And then divisional champions from the Midwest, Northeast, and Philadelphia. So the divisional champions of the Midwest, Northeast, and Philadelphia have been given byes directly into the quarterfinal. They take the bottom 3 brackets. A mixture of teams here. Out of the 8 balls, the first two of the remaining 8 teams will get a bye into the quarterfinal. No more than 1 team per division, though. So we'll draw a ball out. If the second team out is from the same division, they will be put into the preliminary round. So the first ball in under slot HENWSW1.
Yeah.
Second ball out is number 2. Number 2 is Tacoma Rangers. They also get a bye. Next ball out is number 4. Kansas. So Kansas go in the slot, the fourth slot down in the preliminary round as the third team out of the hat there. Next ball out is number 6, which is Denver. They're the second Southwest team out, so they'll go in as SW2. Next ball out is number 3, which is Indianapolis. They're the second Heartland team out, so they'll go in as HE2. Next ball out is number 1, which is Columbia Red Branch. They're the second Northwest team out, so they'll go in as NW2. Sorry, Pat. Next ball out is number 5, which is Twin Cities. They are the third Heartland team, so they go in as HE3, SW3. So it may have looked a little bit complicated, but we'll try and be fair to teams to spread them out a bit. Midwest. So again, Indianapolis will play Denver. Twin Cities will play Kansas City. The winners of those two games will play each other in a quarterfinal. Columbia Red Branch will play St. Peter's. The winners will play Flagstaff Mountain Hounds in a quarterfinal. And then in the bottom half of the draw, Tacoma Rangers will play the Midwest champions, and Philadelphia champions will play the Northeast champions. And those two winners will play each other in a semi-final. So hold on, we seem to have. Okay, so I think we're good to go again. So next up is. So we have concluded the draw for hurling, and we're moving on to ladies football. First competition is ladies senior football. We have 5 entries: Central Division, Northeast Division, Western Division, Charlotte from the Southeast Division, and Vancouver. Vancouver will be placed in a quarterfinal, and then the other 4 teams will be drawn at random to play them. Play Vancouver in a quarterfinal, and the winners of that quarterfinal will play Western Division in a semi-final. Two. Northeast. Against number 4. Charlotte from the Southeast Division. So the Ladies Senior Football Championship will be Vancouver versus Central in a quarterfinal. Winners to play Western Division. And Northeast plays Charlotte from the Southeast Division in the other semi-final. So the Ladies Junior A competition. There's no Ladies Intermediate Football competition. There is a competition, but there was no entries. Ladies Junior A competition, there are 4 entries. 4 teams entered. Central Division, Western Division, St. Pat's from Toronto, and Vancouver. So they're going to be drawn at random for semi-final spots. First out is number 4, Vancouver. Number 2,
Western.
Number 3,
St. Pat's.
and number 1,
Central.
Central. So the draw for the ladies junior A football will have Vancouver play Western in one semi-final, and St. Pat's Toronto versus Central Division in the other semi-final. Next competition is ladies junior B football, and we have 11 entries here. 4 from the Southwest: Austin Celtic Cowboys, Nafina San Diego, John McCool's Dallas, and Wild Geese Los Angeles. We have Madison from Heartland, we have Seattle Gales from the Northwest, we have Charlotte, James Connolly's from the South. The winners of Pittsburgh Banshees versus Philadelphia Notre Dame in a playoff game. Western Division champions Vancouver and Cayman Islands. So as you can see, Vancouver and Cayman Islands, we have 3 preliminary round games. Vancouver and Cayman Islands are already placed in those. We will draw 3 Southwest teams to play in each of the preliminary rounds, and then we will put the 4th Southwest team, the remaining one, plus. So first out is number 1.
Austin.
Number 3.
Phil McCool's.
Number 4. Hold on. Number 4 is Wild Geese. So now we put in, along with the remaining from the Southwest, Madison, Seattle Gales, and Charlotte, which will be 5, 6, and 7. So one of these teams will make up the last spot in the preliminary round to play against Wild Geese. Number 6.
Seattle
Seattle
Gales.
Gales.
Yes.
Now the remaining teams we should be putting in 9, 10 and 11 with those as well. You should have how many balls left?
3. 3 plus.
I just had 8 and 9 because 10 and 11 are already.
Oh yeah, sorry, 8 and 9. Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh, Philadelphia winners plus Western Division winners will be put into the hat now. So first ball out will go into a quarter final against the winners of Seattle Gales and Wild Geese, which is number 9.
Western.
Number 7.
Charlotte.
Charlotte. Number 8.
Pittsburgh
Pittsburgh
or Philadelphia.
or Philadelphia. Number 2. San Diego.
San Diego.
5. Madison. So the draw for the ladies Junior B football will have Vancouver versus Austin Celtic Cowboys in a preliminary round. They will play in a quarter final. They will play the winners of the other preliminary round game between Cayman Islands and Dallas. The third remaining preliminary round game between Seattle Gales and Wild Geese. The winners of that will play the Western Division champions in a quarter final. And in the bottom half of the draw, Charlotte will play the winners of the Pittsburgh-Philadelphia qualifying game. And then San Diego will play Madison in the bottom quarter final. So that concludes the ladies football draw. Next up is Senior Camogie. We have 3 teams entered in this, Liberty Gales from New York, Toronto and Vancouver from Canada. They're going to play a round robin competition. So what we're drawn for here is the order of the teams in the games. So A will play B, B will play C and C will play A. That's the order of games. At the moment we expect to have 2 games on Saturday, 1 game Sunday morning and a final Sunday evening. So Pat, if you draw 1, 2 or 3.
3.
3. Vancouver.
2.
Toronto.
I hope it's number 1.
Yes.
Number 1. So Vancouver and Toronto will play in the first game in the round robin, and then Toronto will play Liberty Gales in the second game, and on the third game will be Liberty Gales versus Vancouver. So next up is Intermediate Camogie. We have 5 teams in this: Heartland, Southeast, Western, Northwest, Vancouver. We've already placed Vancouver in a quarter final. We're now drawn to see who will play against them.
Southeast.
So Southeast is Atlanta Clonagale. Number 1. Heartland team, which is Twin Cities Robert Emmets. 4 is Northwest, which is Seattle Gales. And the remaining team is Western Division, which is Cucullins. So the draw for Intermediate Camogie is Vancouver versus Atlanta in a quarter. The winners play Twin City Robert Emmets in a semi-final. And in the bottom half of the draw, Northwest Seattle Gales will play Western Cucullin. And then the last competition, unless I've missed something somewhere, is the Junior Camogie competition. We have 5 teams entered in this: Naperville and Twin Cities from Heartland Division, and Nafina from the Southwest Division, Cucullins from the Western Division, and Liberty Gales from New York. So as an invitational team, Liberty Gales have been placed in a quarter final. We're going to draw one of the Heartland teams to play against Liberty Gales. That'll be either 1 or 2. And then all the remaining teams will be drawn at random for the 3 semi-final spots.
Number 1.
Number 1 is Naperville. And now we place in the other remaining teams, Southwest, Western. Number Twin Cities. Nafina San Diego from Southwest. Number 4, Western. So the last team out of hat in the draw is Western Cucullins, the new Camogie team in San Francisco. So that concludes the draw for the 2017 playoffs. I think we had 98 teams in the hat. It's going to be a pretty large competition. We're looking forward to having a lot of teams over here in San Francisco on Labour Weekend. I'd like to thank Owen and Aisling and particularly Pat as well, Pat Uniac, former County Board Chairman, for their help here today. Apologies for the late start, but I think it was worthwhile waiting and getting it done right. And we look forward to seeing you later on this summer. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Paul.